Hey, what is up guys, Massive here, back to do another video, and today we're going to be playing on a map that's seldom seen played. This is Tournament Savannah. I'm going to cast from the first person view. Last video I did it a little bit differently, but I've got the footage here that saves me from scrolling the map, to be fair. I can just sit back, relax and observe what's going on in this game. And this is a pretty interesting game. We're playing as the Kane. My opponent, Sen, will be playing as the R20. Not your typical game, and several people who had watched this live did comment on it being a very good game, and it is certainly that. By the end of this video you will see why. Something you definitely don't see too often. Anyways, just a standard opening in this game. Me and Senna like to play just typical, well, we don't really pick our factions. Sometimes I do versus him. He doesn't really like that. Now we're seeing one change already in this community patch. The cyborgs don't take Tiberium exposure damage. And one thing was brought to my attention in the last update, and that was that Enlightened and Awakened took damage in blue Tiberium. I only applied the change to green tip, so a little bit of an oversight from me, but that is no longer the case. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the patch and where it is. It's unlikely to see any more changes. It's been a month now since I last did an update, but if there are some pressing balance issues as the meta continues to evolve, then sure, I will make some adjustments here and there. Depending on what the community decides, I'm not going to dictate on anything. But when it comes to bug fixes, and in particular the changes that I made during the summer, like with the blue tip harvester being way more consistent, it working better, an exploit involving blue tip being fixed, husks no longer crashing the game, all that sort of thing, it's really not up for debate. That should be addressed. But when it comes to balance changes, I don't want to force anything upon anybody. Buzzard does get into my base, does get killed. One thing you can do in R23 is just put your Awakened squads near to the War Factory. They will receive repairs near that War Factory when damaged. So there's all sorts of little details and subtle things that are in this game. It's easy to play game, but it's very hard to master, I feel. I'm saying that as someone who has played this game for many, many years, and I'm still to this day continuing to learn things about this game. Now granted, not quite at the pace that I did years ago. I know mostly everything at this point, or I'd like to think I do. I've developed a really good understanding of things, hence how I felt like I was able to do the patch changes pretty well as far as balance concerns go. I felt like I had some good insight on what needed to change, and I talked to all of the pro players. Now, talking to players that only play one faction or have a specific faction bias isn't too helpful. You don't want to listen to them too much, but still you want to hear their concerns. If they feel that GDI is overpowered, or if they feel like Zircon Firehawks are oppressive versus Scrin, then yeah, you should definitely take that into account, because in many cases it is the case. Like, yeah, it is objectively the case that Zircon Firehawks are OP against Scrin, but it's just one matchup. We don't want to nerf Firehawks just because of Scrin and then make them weaker against GDIs and nods where they need that, otherwise there's just little point in playing Zocom. That ceramic armor is really the sole reason you should be playing Zocom. So yeah, I'm doing a two-pronged attack here with these bikes. My opponent too good for it though, and this attack will be going nowhere. 2 War Factory, late 2 War Factory, typically not all that great if you're going to go for this strategy. It's best to do it on your 1 base, just so it's not going to have poor timing, especially on a map like this, which is really large. It's going to take a long time to traverse over the map. So just going to get my economy established here. The synths mixed in, those are moving particularly slow. Didn't quite notice it in game, but the Traveler ones do start off slow without that speed upgrade, which he will soon be getting. A safe thing to do against R20 is to spam a lot of Raider buggies. It's only safe up until they get the tier 3 and go for Mecha Piece. Mecha Piece is a given in this matchup. They're maybe not the case against Kane, since you've got a lot of EMP which can shut down those Mecha Piece pretty well. Trying to take this blue Tiberium. As mentioned prior, taking blue tip in this patch is unlike really in any other patch or mod. You're going to see the tip harvest blue tip, it's going to visually appear like it's harvesting blue tip. It's going to contain the type of Tiberium that it has harvested. It's going to store that in the game's memory. I have to release it when the game ends, otherwise the game just desyncs, which was why I had to release a hotfix, because I forgot to do that for Scrin. But yeah, it's working perfectly now. That hotfix came 24 hours after the update that had the issue. Thankfully though, there was a lot of 4v4 players on the scene ready to test this. But we've got quite a stable release now. I'm going to drive back these Seekers, since now have that advanced articulate upgrade. They're going to be pretty hard to take care of. There's an attack in the top, so he's actually got me in a really bad position. Raider buggies are harassing him in the bottom, but those aren't going to do a whole lot, especially if they make it all the way to his natural expansion. They're not going to kill any harvesters, and my worst fears have been realized. He's got freaking shock troopers here. With the stealth detection, the Seekers are there to detect stealth. There's just one singular shred turret. That is nowhere near enough. Given that I don't have the charged particle beam upgrade just yet for my turrets, what I should do at this point is upgrade the quad turrets. It's a cheap upgrade. It's only $1,000. I'm going to sell that ref off, given that I'm not going to be able to harvest from this location anytime soon. And Raider buggies, yeah, they're good against infantry in a pinch, but not against these elite troopers, as we're seeing. I'm going to EMP some of these forces here, and Senna's going to have to force a retreat on these units. He can teleport them back with the blink. The Tri-59 do not have to waste so much resources on this. He blinked like 2 centimeters across the screen. Could have been better teleport from him. And he's got more shock troopers. I was like, oh my god damn it. He's got more shocks. He's going to prevent this bike buggy from getting across the map. Now I've got the Tiberium chemical plant. I'm going to use the catalyst missile if I want. I can even use it on his shock troopers, but there is a risk of me killing my own harvesters if I do it in my tip field. I might have no choice since he's going to be harassing me, and there's just nothing there to kill those shock troopers. I just don't have the forces necessary. That Seeker on 1 health is going to be killing my harvesters. I'm taking so many losses now. Another harvester falls, and he's blinked all of them back. I'm researching the charged particle beam upgrade as we speak. I've got the bikes in the top of the map. I'm assuming at this point he's going to make a transition. He's taken that Tiberium spike in the middle. Great strategy so far by Senna. He's being able to secure the... I'm dead. Like, look at this. He's got so many shock troopers. There's so many shock troopers. Though they're not quite like zone troopers where they... Doesn't matter if you've got supercharged particle beams. If the zone troopers are in this number, yeah, doesn't matter. You can have all the shredded turrets you want. That's just not going to do a whole lot. But I'm going to transition now into those Tiberium troopers. By the way, if you're wondering, the shocks do have a buff on them, so you can see why he's building them. I've got the quad turrets as well. That's a lot of shock troopers, man. I expect him to soon be adding on Devastator warships to this combination, which will nullify the tip troopers. It's going to nullify the base defense. It's just going to be so hard to kill if he transitions later on into Devastator warships. It's a really good combination, and we're beginning to see it a lot actually in this matchup here, as well as the Shadow Team spam. This is the counter that really wasn't a thing because shock troopers weren't really a unit before, but we're seeing Shadow Teams spammed in the late game. I'm spamming those Shadow Teams. I got 3 beam cannons, 6 beam cannons in fact, going to try and harass him whilst he's attacking my base. He's took out my main base. He's cancelled my Shadow Team production. He's killing the Shadow Teams. Those don't have any health at all. The shock troopers are trading 1 for 1, which isn't what I'm looking for here, especially given the economic advantage he has at this time. I'm going to sell this tier 2 off. Another portal comes down, and these Reckoners, I can put them near the War Factory, get some repairs near the War Factory, but they just don't have the armor nor the health to withstand this much DPS from those shocks. There is so many shock troopers here, and I don't have really anything to stop them. He's overwhelming my base. He's going to take out my refs. Harvesters returning from that green field will be in jeopardy of going down. Now he's got an army of shock troopers, but what he did miss though was that one tip trooper that spawned out of nowhere. Not sure where it came from. It does have the silent leg upgrade. Look at the veteran C rank it has on it, it just promoted immediately to elite. So that bought me a lifeline in this game. I'm still very much on the back foot in this game. If you look at his Tiberium field compared to mine, he's clearly harvested way more than me. I'm going to transfer some harvests to this field. I don't have a war factory. I don't really have any production. What I do have though is an MCV. I can place down these shredder turrets, and I don't have quad turrets. I thought I did earlier, but no, apparently not. I did not purchase that upgrade. Nevertheless, I'm still going to continue to make these shredder turrets because I know he's probably going to all in me. He can attempt to go for tech. What he really needs is a Devastator warship. If he has a Devastator, even just one, it would be tricky for me to handle. I'd have to go into a Venom just to reflect the beams from those beam cannons onto those Devastator warships. Another wave of shock troopers heading towards my base. I did lose my main. He's going to take out my expansion most likely with this many shocks. Especially since he's got cultists there to reinforce. He can capture the shadow team squads with those cultists. So this is a pretty awkward game. Fortunately though, I did fix the harvester pathing, so the harvesters never bug when they dock in refineries. That's one of the biggest ever fixes in this game's history. You know, there's so many reasons for players to come back today, and it's nice to see that Cyberstorm is playing, and I did play him a couple games. I want to feature one or two of them, but I did record in 1080p, which is a little unfortunate. I'll try and upscale it to 1440p or just cast the replay of those games. Tell me what you guys think of that. I don't think the resolution really matters. It would definitely take me less time to render it. But seeing those shock troopers, I'm going for more shadow teams. This is, like I said earlier, a combination that you just don't see now. You didn't see before. Shadow teams weren't built. The reason why they're good now is because they ignore vehicles. They're like sniper teams. They have that sniper damage. I know I'll get a comment saying, why don't commandos work the same way? Well, the Nod Redeemer has not much health, and it still takes 1% sniper damage. It makes up for it by having a ton of gun armor, cannon damage armor, grenade armor, but the sniper damage armor is still 1%. What does that mean? It dies just as fast as an avatar to a Black Hand Commando, despite being a much heavier unit, because it has a ton of health. That's why mines do a lot of damage to epic units, by the way, because they just bypass the armor. They do so much damage. But you can probably see on your screens a clip of this Redeemer going down to sniper damage of all things. Taking that blue Tiberium, and I've got 29 squads of shadow teams like this. There's no way in the world he can win this game with just infantry. Now the bad thing for me is I may have overcommitted into shadow teams. I've just got so many of them. I got 30 squads, which is crazy. Like, I can kill maybe 3 construction yards. He can pack them up. Got a gun walker there. I'm gonna have to make my retreat, but I did clean up his infantry. I'm gonna see if I can destroy that expansion of his with these 12 squads of shadow teams. I believe that is sufficient to take out the drone platform, especially since it is damaged. It did take some damage before from those beam cannons. I'm going to make some venoms, try and reflect the beam on those beam cannons. That's a very powerful ability available to the Nod and the Martyr Kane. But there is a huge wave of units heading towards my base. Gunwalkers and Seekers. These shadow teams are not going to be all that useful against this. What he can do is use the reconstruction drones to keep these Seekers alive. It will definitely make it harder to kill. No units for me to defend this. He's got so many units. There's 2 shredder turrets for me and 6 beam cannons. That's all I have to hold this off. But my plan here is to build Enlighten. I see he's got gunwalkers, but I can lock those down with the Enlighten squads. I've also built the Voice of Kane to increase the rate of fire of those units. Plus it gives them additional health. Makes them a little bit harder to kill compared to, well, no Voice of Kane. It's the same buff as the Confessor Cabal for the Black Hand faction. And just look at these Enlighten go. They're taking out those Seekers and Gunwalkers. Despite him having Gunwalkers there, he's just not good enough. These Enlightened, when microed well, can trade extremely cost effectively. There's no Hammerhead or Venom equivalent for the Skrins, aside from the Devastator Warship. So it's going to be very hard killing these Enlightened because he's going to try and engage them head on. It's going to be all down to me and my micro. Is my micro going to be good enough to hold against these Gunwalkers? He's got like a dozen Gunwalkers. Now, without EMPs, the Gunwalkers would win this hands down, but you can see with that heroic squad there, it's really changing the battle in favor of me. I can take out all of his Gunwalkers and lose really nothing in return. So his Gunwalker army got destroyed. I've finished my Tiberium field, and I've got enough squads to push into his base. He can't use the buzzers on support power because I've got shadow teams there to insta-snipe the buzzers that spawn in. I can even destroy buzzer highs if he somehow rebuilt his drone ship. He can't build cultists because I've got shadow teams there. He can build Gunwalkers, but as you're seeing, they're getting EMP'd and killed. There's literally nothing the Traveler pair can do against this combo of units. And the Enlightened, the Master Kane, will take the game. It's going to be GG. Master Kane getting a win against Traveler 59. It's a really good faction, especially nowadays with those shadow team squads, as you see. So that was a really unorthodox game on Tournament Savannah. Hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, I would really appreciate a thumbs up on this video. Anyways, before I go, I'd like to thank my Patreon members for supporting me and my channel. Without you guys and your support, I wouldn't have done all the incredible things that I've managed to achieve in this game. Anyways, this is it from me, Master Leaf, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.